Hello and welcome back to Talking Europe. Of all the elections happening in the EU this year, the vote in Germany is probably the one that is being watched most closely across the bloc. Europe's largest economy is in trouble. The old model of cheap gas and easily accessible export markets is no longer working, and its political fragmentation makes it increasingly difficult for Germany to redefine its role in Europe, whether that's on defense spending, climate and energy policies, or competitiveness. What's more, the debate on immigration is reshaping German politics, with the far-right AfD polling in second place, ahead of the Social Democrats of current Chancellor Olaf Scholz. The conservative CDU-CSU is polling in first place, but any future coalition deal-making after the vote on February the 23rd will not be easy, and any political limbo in Berlin would surely be seen as an opportunity by the EU's rivals and foes around the world. Well, for this episode, I'm joined by French MEP Fabienne Keller from the centrist Renew Europe bloc, and by German MEP Andrea Wexler, who is from the European People's Party and a member of the CDU in Germany. Welcome to both of you.
Hello.
Andrea Wexler, perhaps you first. Do you sense that we're heading towards another difficult period of coalition deal-making after this election?
Well, first of all, we're in the middle of an election campaign, and as CDU, we're running for these elections with a clear determination of solving the problems of the people. And this will be always our guiding line, even for the coalition discussions. Yes, this might not be easy. We have clearly adopted our immediate action program, and we are very clear on that we want to implement this program in order to solve the issues by the people. And yes, this could be a difficult coalition period, but first of all, we have to run the election campaign, win the elections, and thereafter we talk about coalitions.
Fabienne Keller, what's your view from the French side of things on this whole election process and what the possible outcomes might be? Because as I said, the polls don't give any clear winner in this poll.
Of course, Germany is a very important country in Europe, as all are, but even more so. The difficulties, economic difficulties Germany is facing are of great concern to many European countries. But we had also a political event with this first vote of CDU with the AfD, the far-right party in Germany. That is very worrying for France, but for the entire Europe, as we are trying, specifically here in the Parliament, to live a coalition around the center with EPP and the Socialists of pro-European MEPs.
Just to clarify for our viewers, so our colleague here is talking about this vote in the German Parliament on tougher immigration rules, and a lot of people said that there was a tacit alliance between the Conservatives and the far-right AfD. No official pact on that particular vote, but Andrea Wexler, I'd like to have your thoughts on that. Did a cordon sanitaire around the AfD break in the German Parliament?
No, absolutely not. There was neither a tacit alliance, as you framed it, nor was there any structured collaboration with the right, with the AfD in the German Parliament. The CDU has clearly set out its standards to solve the migration crisis, which is huge, as the economic crisis as well, in Europe and in Germany. And so there has been no collaboration, but a clear sign of my party that we want to solve the migration crisis, and that there is opportunities to solve them, and thus we proposed the measures that we believe will be able to solve the
when people
crisis.
said tacit alliance, I think what they meant was that the party leader Friedrich Merz said, well, I'm just putting this forward, everybody will vote however they want to vote, but he knew perfectly well that the AfD was going to vote for it.
Well, Mr. Merz tried in the democratic middle of the parliament to get majorities.
Yeah.
And clearly the Greens and the Social Democrat didn't vote for us. They didn't go into a structured dialogue with us. They refused to solve the issues. And thus there was a clear sign for the upcoming election who's really determined to solve those issues.
But Fabienne Keller, this event in the German Parliament, you think it's a sign of things to come across Europe as a whole?
Of course, it's a very dangerous sign, a possible alliance. I hear what you say concerning the fact you didn't really discuss, but it's a fact, and even Mrs. Merkel reacted, saying that was not possible in Germany. She took a very a strong statement. She does not accept the fact that CDU is now voting in the same direction as AFD, and more so because here in the Parliament we are trying to build answers to the difficult aspects of migrations, but as Europeans, together in a good spirit. And we were able to build this Asylum and Migration Pact with a central coalition, the one that is leading in the Parliament and the one that used to be strong because democratic and pro-European, and the fact it breaks in one member state is worrying, and because the far right is stronger and stronger in many member states, of course, gives them quite an additional power.
We'll leave that to one side for now because we can't really go too much into that particular vote in the German Parliament, because I want to come to this question of European defence, Andrea Wechsler, and obviously whoever wins in Germany, that's going to have a big impact on the whole defence architecture in Europe, isn't it?
Absolutely. So being a Christian Democratic Party, we are strongly committed to improving the defense capabilities in our own country in order to be a strong pillar for NATO on the one hand side, but also a driver of European cooperation, also Franco-German cooperation in the defense sector. The issue of security is one of the overarching challenges that Europe needs to meet in the next couple of years, and we are determined to play a very important role in this.
And do you think this 5% target that US President Donald Trump has stated, that's going a bit far, I guess, for any German government, isn't it?
Well, we need to invest more, no questions, and I think the new government will have to negotiate in whatever coalition they are what the right target is, but that we need more spending in defense issues, that's without question.
Yeah, and on the whole Franco-German side of things, it's been said that Friedrich Merz, the CDU leader, is perhaps more Francophile in his sensitivities or his view of things than Olaf Scholz. Do you think that's true, Fabienne Keller, or does it make a difference on who the personality is or not so much?
Of course, it always makes a difference depending on the personality, but I think, I'm sure, the relation with France and more globally with Europe is very central in the discussion. As in the French politics, the relation with Germany is essential. This is why we have agreements and treaty discussions among ourselves and projects we share, not against Europe, but as an element helping to build also larger consensus. For example, on defense, it's very important on defense and security to have common views, and usually we don't have common views to start with. This is what makes the couple interesting, because when we agree on something, then it's a good basis for an enlargement to other European countries. We are not alike. I live at the border, so I see the differences. So this is what makes our dialogue very rich, and it's, of course, symbolically so important after the Second World War to have this capacity to always keep the discussion first, and today keep the discussion to protect Europe, to carry that consensus of being willing to support Ukraine, to be against Russia, who is aggressing Ukraine, and to share it among member states as well.
So when we hear some CDU politicians occasionally saying, Olaf Scholz has not really cultivated enough of a close relationship with the French government, is that just political point scoring, or is it true? I mean, how do you think that this relationship has gone between Scholz and Macron?
It's absolutely true that there has not been a close relationship, and the German-French relationship has suffered tremendously, but not only the French-German relationship, but also the European-German relationship. It's always been a very strong cornerstone of European integration. And in Germany, we talk about the German vote, which is no vote in the Council. And with Merz, we will have someone who has Europe at his heart. He used to be a member of the European Parliament. He understands European politics. He's well respected with the European leaders and presidents. So I'm very optimistic that we will have a strong pro-European, pro-democratic, pro-rule of law government if we manage, to make a government after the election.
And on the sort of competitiveness side of this relationship, because all the EU talks about at the moment is competitiveness, we did see this new initiative announced by President Macron and Chancellor Scholz in May of last year, an initiative specifically on Franco-German competitiveness. But do you think, Fabienne Keller, they've actually been too weak domestically to really push through these kind of big ideas?
I think they were willing to do so, but the circumstances did not make it possible to have an initiative as strong as it should have been. The opportunity is now. Now we are building this common European multi-annual framework that will give a guidance, and you may have seen the French Commissioner Stéphane Séjourné with Ursula von der Leyen, Franco-German, presenting an agenda for competitiveness largely inspired by Draghi's report, asking for more innovation, more investment in new technologies, more investment in clean industry. All of this helping this European growth we clearly need structurally, but also more specifically in this small recession situation we are in now, and specifically in Germany, that we are worried about, because unemployment is much lower in the last years. It should not go up again in Europe and in Germany or France.
I think we've got a sense of, from both of you, of how important this Franco-German relationship is, regardless of who is in power long term. But we'll have to end it there. Thank you so much to both of you, Andrea Wechsler and Fabienne Keller. Thanks for joining me. And of course, we'll be following all the twists of the German election from Berlin with our correspondents on 23rd of February. Do watch us. Thanks for being with us here on Talking Europe.